answer orally on oath or affirmation any question relevant to the investigation relating to the refurbishment / reconstruction of the Chancery Building of the Sierra Leone Permanent Mission to the United Nations in New York. I did attend and assisted the Commission with information that I was acquainted with. This is limited to the conception stage of the refurbishment project. In particular, I informed the ACC that I was neither directly involved in the procurement of contractors, services, nor the subsequent disbursement of public funds relating to that project. A written statement was presented by me to the Commission, copies of which are also hereby made available to the press. I have a copy of the statement here. This will be presented to you as well. Thereafter, a public statement was also made by me and popularized in social media following a press. Consistent with my prior commitment to the setting up of the Anti-Corruption Commission in the year 2001 and to fully support the institution in the execution of its mandate, i.e. the fight against corruption, I again, at the request of the ACC, attended its office on Friday, 24th September 2020, relative to the same issue. This was followed by the latest visit yesterday, 5th of October 2021. I know you are all aware of. Interested in investigating the procurement provided by the African Express. Continued engagement with the interaction with the Anti-Corruption Commission so far has been of mutual Sierra Leone's extent to endeavor to release on stiff bail conditions by the ACC and further that the search of my dwelling premises. These reports are not only baseless and without foundation, but are calculated failed attempts to smear me for political gains. Let me assure all Sierra Leoneans that having served on an inquisition, I just want questions that will add value to Sierra Leone's current
media company you're fully representing in your name.
Call on for 1 minute.
And as we earlier briefed you guys, it is purely around the ACC stuff, investigation with the New York Chancery. And if you have any developmental oriented questions, then you can direct it to start up your name, the company you represent.
Please allow Mr. Maki to call on for 1 minute. Okay. Come. Ben, please you can call your name and your institution. Every newspaper here is an institution. 1 minute. 40.
From AYB. Salif Chairman Kamara from AYB Television. Okay, my question is of funds.
One of the statements I will give you, it is clearly stated, clearly articulated. You will see that. That is my view. I'm not against any investigation by the ACC on the document. We have passed the age of procurement many years ago. And if they were against the procurement process, they would not have remitted funds to New York towards funding that project. So that is inconsistency, okay, in what's happening and what they want to look at. So that's why I will only stop there. That's my own view.
Yes, Austin.
Austin Thomas, newspaper. Dr. Samuel Kamara, presently or arguably right now,
I don't want to read that into the ACC. But let me spend 1 minute and also tell you about regime change. My experience, because I've served various regimes in this country, a regime change is piloted, or its success depends on its leadership. I hope you know what I mean. We've had various regime changes in this country, and we've seen various stages of how strengthening is going under these regime changes. When we had Momo, it was a regime change from Sheikh Stephen to Momo. It was replaced by the regime of Momo. But he was a civilian, Momo was a civilian. We saw what happened. Okay. And then we had a coup. We had a civil war, then we had a coup. So that was a regime change also. We saw what happened during that time. Commissions of inquiry, intimidation, that we thought were not helpful to the cause of pursuing peace. After we pursued the war, and I was there in 19. To find the war, but also to sustain such a war. The war was ongoing. We just want to maintain the lives of people. Now, shortly afterwards, we had another regime change. What was it? The regime that brought us the 2002 election to peace, to democracy. So we had a change, democratic change. And then there was the war again. There was a period when we actually sustained some of the most difficult times in this country. 1997, 1998, all of those. And then we had 2002, 2001, Pakaba came. We had the 2002 elections, you won. That was, you're moving from a military regime to a civilian regime. In 2005, we had another regime change. As it happened in the case of Pakaba, of Sheikh Stephen to Momo, civilian to civilian, it was the same thing in 2005, 2007. Also, we had Pakaba was a civilian with international experience, United Nations. We had Dr. Alex Ruma, a civilian with commercial experience and insurance, financial management experience. So he came. We saw what happened in the two regimes. Under Pakaba, I will tell you this if you have not been following, we had the most extensive and intensive institution building in Sierra Leone. All these institutions you see today were established during that period, 2002 to 2007. Whether it's NACIT, NRA, we saw the merger in Sierra. We saw the establishment of National Public Procurement Authority, because we are moving. It was in the Ministry of Finance. It was not right. The Attorney General's office more so. So we moved from there. Okay. So we saw that, you see that transition. I don't want to interpret your own perception of what you saw there in terms of public policy management, in terms of voice, intimidation, so many other things. Okay. And then we had the regime change in 20. This time, it was from a purely civilian with dog logo left in they left in black and so therefore the themes are different. I mean quasi because you had a military upbringing. Okay. And there was one of the I made one statement some time back. And the most difficult the transition. And then by leadership is not in the case of Swahili. All those who he brings around him at the core, because you always have the inner core, and the core management of the regime. That's the leadership. So I want to leave it to that. Today, Samura Kamara trying to be president. The regime change that we will see is will be from this quasi situation, paraphernalia, structural, into a regime of somebody who has served this country professionally in all most major offices in this country, served internationally. In 2018, someone was saying, this man, now professional, you know, who serve in the country. We have seen most countries that have done very well. They've professionalized, intellectualized public policy, country management. Not to picking business, not to popularity they look for. You're looking for something that will satisfy, that will create the well-being of people. Even at your own detriment, you are a public servant. That's what you do. So, this is the outlook. There will come a time when I will articulate this transitional changes, for all of us to understand why we need to change our mindset and move this country forward without sentiments to ourselves. Yeah. So your answer to your question, if that is their feeling, I leave it to them. But I a project. Okay. That's why in my statement you will see what I mentioned there. The ACC, for me, remains my baby. It's a very useful institution. All of us have to work hard. It will not be transformed into a partisan institution. So that's why, yes sir.
Thank you.
Jonta?
Bunta.
Oh, Bunta. Yes,
I'm the editor-in-chief of Uyun.
Yes.
The project in question is, and what I want to know is the ACC is more interested in looking into the procurement process rather than the mismanagement of funds. Can you dilate on the conception of
the ACC that this project was born by the intentions of the late President Ahmad Shankar, who visited United Nations and saw the building. I don't know how many of you have been to New York, but this building is one of, in terms of cultural heritage, it's a listed building. What it means is that you must not touch that building without serious permission of the New York State. So therefore, any contractor that is brought in to do work must have been approved by the US, more particularly by New York State. So Pakawa saw this building. Then I was financial secretary. Developed this building. It coincided with the Treasury building that was burnt. We didn't have enough funds. We didn't have funds to do both the Treasury building as well as do this New York building. So we do not move with that project. Under President Nkrumah, we revived this. But by the time we revived it, staff at the New York office in the Chancery had already had a good relationship with the Chinese government. And through this cordial relationship, the Chinese government provided $2 million for this project. During our time, a technical and interministerial committee was set up, which had the Minister of Justice, Finance, Foreign Affairs, principally Works, the Procurement Authority, and these institutions, and of course the Chancery, were responsible for the became minister. Advised well for me at the time to convince the head of Chancery what is, and kept in a dedicated account. There was one disbursement, if I can remember vividly, and that was it. The first asbestos clearing. That's the most dangerous aspect of strong aspect to clear that. That's why probably did not go too far with the project. We took a lot of time. We had the same problem. There were some to have those birds moved that also obtained from this African. About the conceptualization of the project, there's a point in the statement. There's never been a problem with procurement process. The questions were, it was alleged that the funds that were transferred were not spent on the building. Where did these funds? And we're all aware, I mean, of at recovering some of these funds. If it were not African News Press, would we have been investigating procurement? No. We would not have. If we had problems with refurbishment, happy. It was never there. One financial corruption we're talking about. Corruption everywhere. Even in us as civilians, in our relationship with the government. We always want to cut things shortcut. So if I want to go this thing, but someone I know some person who will pay for me. Then I called Mr. Hey, Alfred is coming, you and I Bobo, I forget this thing. Without asking about his qualifications or anything. In many aspects, when you do research into the description of corruption, it's very wide. But for us, it's only about financial the transfer of funds. Give people their voice to criticize, to oppose, to articulate alternative policies. That's corruption. The way you centralize policy to your own benefit, that's corruption also. So that's I find the procurement side and the substantive matter that was raised. If Afghan best had not raised alarm, would we have been where we are today?
No.
We would not have been where we are today. That's why I said in one statement, we should really find time. I'm not saying that all whistleblowers are credible, but you should dissect them and look at those that are credible. You appreciate them, those are credible. If you deny, it's time for you. It's their word against their word. You try and prove it. No, so? Yeah. I'm not accusing anybody, but I just told them, if you want to investigate, please. I've spent many, many years. Today, where I am, I'm telling you, at my age, I don't need good motor. Really, I've lived a fulfilled life. I've achieved professionally for Sierra Leone. That's why I honor his glory. I make an impact in his life. Yeah.
Director, Tag Members. According to the press release here, you asserted that your dwelling was searched by the ACC through the Scorpion Squad.
I did not say that. I refuted. Yes, sir.
Okay.
I will give you just my account.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Are you done?
Yes, sir.
I'm done.
Oh, fantastic.
Don't try. The place is very cold.
Yes.
Ibrahim outside Camara. Doctor, we are in this race. The normal talks around Sierra Leone now is the run dry. What will the Samura Kamara presidency do differently to Chile?
It's an expression of frustration. Now, the first 10 years I read and it got dry. When in we have not moved. I was giving you my own giving out. During Ernest Kourouma's regime, what happened? We were sending soldiers. We supported the international peace missions. That's it. It means Sierra Leone was moving forward. We transformed. The ground dry has many factors, plenty. The ground dry. All it means in the bottom line is that people are not happy with what is the ground dry. If you cannot, even a market woman, politics we interfere, the central government interferes into the appointment of a cheerleader in the market. Hey, why don't you allow the business people, the market women or men to choose their own leader? By doing so, they will move the developments further. They will solve their own problems without even central government knowing. Because we see how women can come together. I was here constructing a whole road going to Thunder Hill. A group of women came here. They are contributing, constructing the whole road. So you have tag men arose out of the way to give people voice, let people hear what's happening. That's why I was happy with the way the Public Act was repealed. Fine, not that it was a formidable transition because yes, your perception. This is what it means. In it today, we shall be in it tomorrow. Table. Because changes that take place in all the developed philosophies. Even the agriculture base, we are struggling with it. Let us that create employment. Joseph, don't say we give me a bulb made in Sierra Leone. Bulb that you can export. Because you have so they will not make reels again. Matches and tobacco. Yeah. Yes, they were facing international challenges. Operation country, to skills. Not all men able go school get PhD. But there are some people, if you put them here to transform this table, they will do it just like that. Let's support them. You know, truck drivers there. And AMR were there. They were trying to train Sierra Leoneans to drive this heavy machinery. But now they don't lock now. ADAX as well. Now they don't close down. We don't stop that. So we have to reopen. We have to reopen. You're one of them. Yeah. Good.
So you have access to legal representatives. So why do you choose to go to the ACC instead of allowing you?
No, it's an interview. It's an interpersonal interview.
Okay.
If we find out that the CEO the statement, the lawyers were there all the time. Yes, the 2 days ago when I was there, there were 3 lawyers. The day before, the first time, I had 7 lawyers. The other time, I had about 5, 6 lawyers. But they are limited also. If you are not, I'm not against ACC. You know, one of the things that is disturbing, I don't know whether it's in Sierra Leone, but in Sierra Leone, it appears that even if one drinks this water, politics, you want to write policies, beneficiaries to good policies. Sure. Yeah. So we need to change the narrative of political engagement also. Too much politics is not too good. It's not good for any country. How can we depoliticize Sierra Leone to a large extent? I want to pass that question to you. So when I become president, you tell me that's the first advice I want from you. How can we depoliticize? Because even national cohesion started in Benembu, Kamalo. I never went to school in Kamalo. All over. I'm friendly to everybody. You're coming from Pujong, you're coming from Mamba, calling from Bo. If I go to Bo, it's like I'm a kid because my dad grew up. That's why I went by secondary school. Then they called the school United Cowboy Company. Produce some of among the best brains in this country. St. Andrew's Secondary School. So this is how I'm so diversified in my thought, my mentality. Country. How they look, you ask you who you are. If you go to the Ministry of Finance, you will see the people I recruited and brought in. Professionals. I didn't care where they came from. You go to the central bank, it happened. You go to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, file left there, it happened. I think God will help you that way, so we will move forward. So the small country, 7 million. Now they say we are 8 million. We never manage 7 million, 8 million we will manage. But development is a process, it's a stage. Tomorrow our children will experience another stage. But let us make that.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have to forgive us. One last question, please.
Salute Janjalo from the Times. It's a newspaper. Dr. Samura, Sierra Leonean and Africans as a whole, they perceive politicians as people who, as a game of deception. That we've known, when I follow your presidential debate, this presidential debate with AYV organized by Umar Fufana and Hassan and Aruni, I realize, attentive to some of your statements, it's like when issues were put forward before you, you are like saying, we'll try to fix it. You are not definite about addressing issues within the twinkle of an eye. And I see sincerity in some of your presentation, and I strongly believe this is not going down well with others in the political class. So, we've also heard about the situation wherein the Sierra outside deal, the COI, the other issues have come up for which the ACC was highly interested, but we've not been able to see any tangible evidence come forward that will indict you that for A, B, and C. So now that this the ACC is focusing on this issue that has to do with the Chancery, do you see this ACC investigation as a strategy to distract your presidential bid out of 2023?
Well, I want to put it behind me to be able to move on with my campaign. Because I don't want to be in Krubola and then you receive a note. I said, please allow me. I want to start moving again in Sierra Leone. I told them this openly. I think my sincerity, no, the person who educated me, my uncle, as a primary school, only had primary school education. But that passed common entrance. I went to secondary school. I was in the University of Wales, in Bangor. Professor Jack Refer. Only first thing. But he grew all of us. Bank of England, you name it. So it tells you that if you adapt yourself to circumstances. I said, I was not reading compared to other people who are reading. I don't go into it to go and start reading books, papers written by people for me. If you write a statement for me, Papa, I will go home, I will read it carefully. If I don't understand, I will call the world around and they will tell, world made the public political statements, he did everything. 11 o'clock at night, when I thought I was going to, then somebody called. He said, Mr. Sule, the party called me. Sule went to his room. As soon as he came, he said, hey, Piranke, these people are not done right. Read that for me back. I sat there, he had his pen and paper, he was listening word by word until I finished. They said, where's your computer? I said, it did downstairs. Go take her. So I went and we did not finish on.
Yeah.
If you give me a paper, I just plan and read, it's not my own. You see, so
There will be lots of mistakes.
that's what happened to leadership. Yeah, so this is where we are. Satisfied now?
Yeah, I think I'll want the question to you. Sorry, you're passing. Okay, one. Yeah.
Yeah, my name is Sia Janga, Focus 247 newspaper.
Who's that?
Focus 247 newspaper.
247?
Yes, sir. Doctor, if the ACC charge you
No,
to court.
no. But I did say,
Yeah. I'm just asking.
it's the people. I will comfortably tell you, I saw it in Kabbalah, I saw it in Bo, I saw it in Kenma, I saw it even in Pelam. Today, I don't think it's more about APC versus Honestly, when you travel, you see what the people want is welfare, and improvement in their welfare. Honestly. Elect the APC, if you don't achieve for the people, then go deny you. So it's your perception in politics must be you versus the people. But if you follow the people, that's the best for you. After this Samura Kamara, there will be another Samura Kamara tomorrow. There will be many more Samura if I go resign. And the people, what they look for. Yeah. Yes, sir. So what's the Facebook one?
Yes, this is a question. We're just trying to compare.
I have not really sat down to do any comparisons. And you know, my feeling is that you are not scared to step on toes. You are not scared to step on toes when you are doing that in countries because of their food. So was his meetings. You should look for, it's a pride to surround you. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
3 sets of papers. My statement to
we have it.
No, not for you. This is the beginning of what? Thank you, man. Yeah.